Hello, and a very warm welcome to Fish and Reptile Info. My name is Serena, I will be your narrator. Okay, so you want to know more about water test kits, how and also why to test your aquarium water. The most important thing about keeping fish is testing your water. It's paramount in being successful. To do this, we use aquarium test kits. The choices of test kits are vast. We must add, we are not affiliated in any way with the products shown. Each type of water has its own kit, freshwater tropical and saltwater tropical. It's not advised to mix these kits. In other words, don't use a freshwater kit on salt water, and vice versa. The reason for this is, the test chart colors are different for fresh and salt. Keeping a fish-only setup is a lot less involved water-wise. A reef setup requires a lot more in-depth test. Regarding a freshwater setup, the main tests you'll need to do regularly are ammonia, nitrite, nitrate, and pH, which are all naturally occurring in your tank as part of the nitrogen cycle. For a fish-only saltwater setup, you will need to test for ammonia, nitrite, nitrate, and pH. Other tests are available if problems arise. For a reef saltwater setup, the following test kits are available, and be warned, the list is comprehensive. Ammonia, nitrite, nitrate, salinity, also known as specific gravity, some people call it SG, pH, carbonate water hardness, alkalinity, phosphate, dissolved oxygen, copper, chlorine and chloramine, iron and carbon dioxide, calcium, iodine, strontium, potassium, boron, iron, and a few others. Phew, that sounds scary. You will only require some of these kits if problems arise. Otherwise, you can just use the basic kits. These include ammonia, nitrite, nitrate, salinity, pH, carbonate water hardness, alkalinity, phosphate. These are the basic kit you require. Out of interest, iodine, strontium, potassium, boron and iron all aid in the coloration in corals. So, we now know what test kits we require. Let's now look at what these tests are testing for. You can usually save some money by purchasing a master test kit. For most hobbyists, these master test kits will be sufficient. Saltwater reef tank keepers may need to invest in additional specialized mini test kits. That all depends on what corals you intend to keep. There are roughly two types of testers, one being the test strip and the other being the dropper type. Personally, we use the dropper type. However, the final choice is yours. With the dip type, you simply dip a small test card into your sample aquarium water. The color chart will then give you the reading. With the dropper type test, you place your sample aquarium water inside a test tube. In some tests you add drops of different chemicals to the test tube. Then you shake the vial and then wait for the color change. Then you compare the tube water color to the supplied chart by holding the vial 1 inch away from white card. This way, in our opinion, is a more accurate test. It's a good idea to ask someone else to look at the sample color. It's always good to get a second opinion, but remember, don't try to convince them what color you think it is. Let them make their own mind up and then tell you. Now we know why we need to test our water. Let's now go over what we test and what the ideal parameters should be. Ammonia. Ammonia is the first part of the water cycle. This is a direct result from fish waste and decomposing food in the aquarium. Ammonia will kill your fish in a painful way. You want this reading to be 0. We have a video on the water cycle. Nitrite. Ammonia gets converted to nitrite by the bacteria in your tank. Nitrite will rapidly climb in a tank that has not cycled. Nitrite is still toxic to freshwater tropical fish. Your filter will convert nitrite into nitrates eventually. You need a reading of 0. Nitrate. Nitrate, not to be mixed up with the word nitrites. Nitrate is the end result of what's produced from the ammonia and nitrite during the cycling process. Your fish can live with a slight reading of nitrate, but not ammonia or nitrite. However, high levels will stress your fish. The only way to reduce nitrates is by water changes. We have a saying in one of our books. Let me quote you, and quote, "Dilution is the best solution to pollution," end quote. For fish only, you need a reading of 20 parts per million, ppm. For a reef aquarium, you need a reading as close to 0 as possible. Alkalinity, also known as DKH. This is also linked with your pH. It determines how stable your water is relative to a moving pH. It works in a kind of buffering for your pH. The ideal reading for a saltwater aquarium is between 7 and 12 DKH. pH. pH is the scale used to measure the acidity or alkalinity of water. This ranges from 0 to 14. 0 is the most acidic. A reading of 7 is neutral, and a reading of 14 being very alkaline. You can lower or raise your pH levels by doing water changes, or you can use chemicals from your local pet shop. Different fish species require different pH levels. Always research the pH of the fish you want to purchase. You require a reading of fish dependent. Salinity. Salinity is the measurements of dissolved salts in water. It is also referred to as specific gravity, and also SG for short. This is measured by using a hydrometer. As seen here, we have a video on how to use one. Basically, it tells you how salty your water is. For a saltwater fish only, you need an SG reading of around 1.022 ppm. A reef requires 1.026 ppm. Phosphate. Phosphate is introduced to your aquarium mainly by using tap water, and also dead plants and fish food. High phosphate readings will cause algae outbreaks. We would advise a phosphate reactor for a reef aquarium. A reading of 0 is ideal. Water hardness. Water hardness can be affected by very soft water. This could make your pH levels erratic. The carbonate hardness of salt water can give you a good indication of how stable your pH is. Readings should be around 6.5 to 8.5 degrees DKH. Calcium. Used in saltwater aquariums, you need to test for calcium if you intend to keep a reef aquarium. Calcium is required for growth, especially in coral growth. Reading of 380 to 450 ppm is normal. You need a reading of 500 ppm where lots of hard corals are kept. Chloramine. This is added by using tap water. It is another fish killer. Do not use tap water for a reef aquarium. You must add a dechlorinating treatment to new tap water. However, you should always use RO water. Chlorine, same as chloramine. It is a fish killer. Copper. Again, it is from tap water. It is a killer for fish or a reef setup. You must test for the presence of copper. It can also be introduced to your aquarium if you've used any copper-based medications. Copper can be very harmful to fish and invertebrates. You need a reading of 0. Iodine. An iodine test kit is required by people that keep corals or invertebrates that require iodine. Iodine is used up quickly by the aquarium inhabitants. It gets skimmed off by a protein skimmer. So, there you have it. Now you know why we test water, and also how to test your water. You may have to watch this video again, so you can take notes for your future reference. It may come in handy for you. More videos to follow soon, full of information. So, please like and subscribe. Don't forget to ring the bell, so you know when new information is available. Thanks for watching.